Hello, and welcome to A Game of Ice and Fire. When last we left off, Lord Cameron Tide had decided, after recent events, to set out on a hunt to relieve some of his stress. Martan, Tholly, Radava, Sir Darren, and Nicholas were all invited to join him, in an effort to smooth relations and build trust between the families, but also just so they could get to know each other. On their way to the Otter Wood, Lord Cameron indulged the group with stories of the history of the island and those who have ruled it, as well as the wars they fought and the ruins they have left behind. Once in the Otter Wood, Tholly proved again his skills with a bow, taking down 2 of the 4 deer they spotted. After an eventful day of hunting, they again prepare for a night beneath the stars. And that is where I will bring everybody back in. So, after this day of hunting, Tholly, with your bit of success there, taking down the 2, what would you guys like to do?
Making camp? Have we already made camp? Or are we in the process?
You are in the process of making camp, we shall say.
What's our sleeping situation? I done forgot it. Do we have one?
The individual, like, soldiers' tents for everybody, I think, is what we decided with.
Got it.
And if not, then that's what we decided with. So everybody's got their own little tent and bedroll with their stuff on their horse that you have with you. And you have kind of done what you needed to with the deer. You have hobbled the horses and got a little campfire started.
I'm assuming, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, that we need to dress these deer. Like, you wouldn't leave it like it is, right? Because rigor mortis would set in, etc.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So,
yeah. You will.
So we need to dress them.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to see how well you do at that?
No, I do not.
I was just including it as part of, the normal going about of hunting and pressing,
Well, I was just making sure.
But yeah, if you want to roll for it, I can make you roll for it.
I do not. I will.
Alright. Yeah, it would be a survival. Let me see. I actually have all of those materials and I didn't bring them out.
I absolutely want to see how this goes down.
Let's see, survival, let's do hunt. This is part of the hunting process, so I'm sure you have bonus dice in hunt, right?
No. All of my experience are in bow.
I know. I've looked at your character sheet a lot.
Look at it, Drew.
Yeah, Dungeon Master, don't look at our character.
Look at it. Let it be a surprise. No, you just want me to roll survival?
Yeah. Roll me a survival.
That is bollocks. 7.
7. Okay. You've got 2 deer, and you spend a lot of the time working on the first one, kind of getting it perfect and going back and correcting the little minor mistakes that you had. You got the stitch backwards, and any of the little preparations that you're making, and just kind of cleaning and dressing and getting these prepared for being on horseback or nearby for a couple of days. And by the time you get to the second one, it has started to get dark, and it just makes it even more complicated for you, to the point where you have to kind of look around and get Radava's help with his eyes, his better eyesight, and get him to kind of just point out, is that an intestine? Is that still in there? And he's like, yeah, you should probably take that out. But after a while, you get both of them prepared to the point where you don't think they are going to cause any sort of additional stench. And you do discard of the remains kind of well away from camp so that you don't attract any predators to your area. You know, as you're trained to do.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Bring the predators.
All right. Does anybody have anything they want to do before the night?
Radova just gets camp put together, all the tents set up, etc. before it gets too dark, and then get the nice fire going. So maybe cook some stuff that they've caught, or cook some of the provisions they've brought.
I'm gonna sit around that fire with my loot and strum.
Nice. All right, Martin, anything?
Nothing in particular, no.
All right. How are we divvying up the watches?
I think Tholly's always first watch. For what it's worth.
Radova's always in the darkest part of the night there.
All right. Do you want to share your watch with anyone, Tholly?
Yes, with someone who's better at watching than I am. No, I'd be happy to. I need to talk to. I need to talk to Sabas, I think, or Brandith. Who was the one that I bet?
The money with? Well, that was Brandith.
Okay, then I need to talk to.
Brandith was the sucker.
I need to talk to Brandith, anyways. So I'll say. Brandith and I will take first watch. Kind of ribbing him with my elbow.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Go ahead and give me your awareness notice test. I will have Brandith make his, now that I know what his stats are. That was absolute shit.
Great.
Yeah.
How's
I
a
mean-
10 grab you?
It's a lot better than his 6.
Well, so 16 is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
Well, I tried.
No, a 10's actually, a 10's not bad. So as everyone is kind of, you know, they have gone to their respective tents and are starting to doze off. You and Brandith are sitting around the fire, and the night is now full dark. The moon's crescent has grown fuller in the past few nights. Just kind of as you're taking the time to notice, you know, the moon has grown a little bit fuller in the passing of time. The sparks from the fire kind of float up and seem to join the stars. It's a really pretty sight. Yeah. What did you have something that you wanted specifically to take care of with Brandon? Any conversation, or you just wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, Tholly kind of sits in silence for a little while. He's got a stick that he's kind of just poking in the fire and making more ashes like fly up into the air. And he's looking up as you say, they meld with the stars, and he goes, "You owe me 50 stags." Kind of looks at the corner of his eye at him and grins a little bit.
He has kind of just a stern face as he's looking down at the fire, looking around. He kind of reaches and scratches his chest, and out of that he pulls a flask and just kind of passes it over to you and says, "I know. I'll get you when we get back to Tide Hall. In the meantime, here you go."
Tholly takes a sip and says, "Yeah, you might want to hold on to your money. I expect I'll take more from you yet."
Well, I'm glad I didn't take you up on getting the most deer. That was some impressive shooting back there. Seems your friend Radova wasn't lying.
Does Brandith know that I flushed the deer, like, the misses that I made were to flush the deer, or was he not aware of that? Okay.
He is not aware of that. No.
Then that's great. I say, I don't know, it's just a hobby of mine. Kind of grins a little again.
Just a hobby.
I do not have the voice for this character. I don't know. It's bad, and I can't.
Well, we've
find
also
it.
been gone for what, a month?
Well,
So, that doesn't help.
Anyway, yeah, just kind of grins at him as he kind of looks around and kind of scoping out the landscape and trying to observe what is to be observed, if anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your watch passes uneventfully, aside from the, conversation, the little bit of a conversation that you're having with Brandith, passing his flask back and forth, just kind of talking about the day spent hunting. Yeah, your watch passes uneventfully. Who is taking second watch?
I think that's
I think
Radova.
that's me.
Yeah, closer we get to watch, and the bigger the sips off of that flask will be. And if we empty his, I'll pull my own. But the closer we get to the end of my watch, the more drunk I want Tholly. The more drunk Tholly wants to be. Just pass out, sleep well.
Yeah, I got you.
50 stacks. 50 more. Maybe tomorrow. Brandon?
Sure thing.
Good night.
If you make your shots,
I'm
or
gonna
if
go
your
get-
friend makes his shot. Yes.
Oh, he'll make his shot. I can assure you of that. But I'm gonna go get him right now. I think he's in this one. Is he in this one?
Roll a d6.
Oh, piss. How about a 5?
He's not in that one. Did you kick it,
The tent?
or did you open? You peeked in.
I peeked in.
You peeked in?
I'm responsible for waking up Radova.
Yeah, you peek in on Martin.
I'm sorry. Go back
Did
to
you
bed.
wake me?
Oh, probably not. Shh.
I'll let you decide if he wakes you.
Did you bump into my tent, or you just like peek in?
I peeked in.
Drew.
Yeah, that was me being hopeful that he was being drunker than he was, but he did not bump into it.
Rolled a 5, baby.
Yeah.
You
Well,
did
he
bump
rolled a
into
5. That was just to see if you got the tent right.
Oh.
You had a 1 in 6 chance, so.
They didn't wake up then.
Okay, well, I'll go to the next tent.
You eventually find Iron Hand and wake him up. And
Radova. Thanks for a watch, my man. I pass him the flask and say, carry on the tradition.
Jesus, man. How long have you been doing? It's only
I don't
been a
know.
couple hours.
A few hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Enough time to get a good buzz going.
Radova takes the flask away immediately.
Good.
Takes a sip and caps it.
Yes. Now, just enjoy your watch and then finish that close to the end. You'll be like me and it's more fun.
Right, yeah. I'll be sure to do that. Go on to bed now. Get yourself some sleep.
Which one's mine? Which one's mine?
Just go. Radova kind of steers him in the direction of his tent.
Tholly goes and drinks a full skin worth of water and then goes and pees behind his tent and then goes to bed.
All right, Ironhand, do you have anyone you want to share your watch with?
Well, Radova's gonna go this one alone.
All right. So if you will go ahead and make your notice chest, and if there's anything specific you're looking for, let me know.
Yeah, pretty much the main thing that Radova is looking for is more bird noises.
Okay.
More out of place, weird, shouldn't be here, shouldn't be happening bird noises. You know, sort of the same thing that he's been hearing on almost every watch he's taken out in the woods since this game began. Ooh. Better than I thought it was. That's 23.
23. You sit down by the fire by yourself, and the night has grown even darker. The moon has gone now behind the trees and is mostly obscured, and now the light of the fire really is the one thing that helps you see out into the night. And even in this kind of dimmer light, looking around, watching the embers floating up into the air, you do notice some of those same birds, some swallows. This time they seem to have come to rest in the branches above you. They aren't making noise really this time. They seem like they might be sleeping this time. But you did notice them. You do see them. And now that you know that what you're looking for, you're recognizing them.
Radova kind of watches them sleep for a second, and very, not really nervously, not really, just kind of curious and more than a little irritated at this point, to be frank. And kind of watches them and makes a mental note of where they're roosting, how they're roosting, where to look for them in the future in different places. And then spits. Not really at them, but in their vague direction, before just sort of sitting and finishing his watch out.
Okay. Yeah, the rest of your watch goes uneventfully. Yeah, the night continues to grow darker as the moon falls, like I said, behind the trees and farther beyond the horizon. Alright, who is taking the last watch? And you could shaft somebody and just give it to another one of your crew that's not you. If you really wanted to.
Traditionally, it's Sir Darren that takes the last watch.
Yep. Alright, I can have him do it. Alright. Alright, so you wake up Sir Darren. He goes, takes his watch, and you fall asleep and are woken in the morning when Sir Darren comes and wakes you up. As he's kind of making his rounds, seems he didn't see anything of note during the night either. That the watch passed uneventfully.
The way you strung that together was troublesome to me.
Good. All right, so the fire is still going. You wake up to a hard breakfast, and we get to continue with the hunt, day 2. So, can I get everyone to roll another survival hunt test for me?
That's the noise you want to hear a man make after rolling the dice.
Mm-hmm.
Snake eyes.
Oh, God.
Snake eyes? Oh no. Oh no. All
How'd you
right.
do, James?
7.
7. All
I
right.
got a 9.
And a 9. Okay. Cool. So, Tholly, as you all kind of go through the morning, you get back on your horses. They are refreshed after a night's rest. And you continue on your, walk through the woods on horseback. And in your time in the woods growing up, you learned to recognize several different kinds of tracks. These are the tracks of people, these are the tracks of horses, these are the tracks of deer. You also learned what boar tracks looked like. And in the late morning, kind of 10-ish in the morning, you find the unmistakable sign of boar tracks. Now, boar you hunt a little differently than deer. Boar will tear horses up, and real fast. They'll wreck your horses. So the way to approach boar is to try to locate where they are and then to try and box them in, but you need to do that on foot and with your boar spears that you all have. So, to pursue this boar, you will just have to succeed in following its tracks.
Tholly sees the tracks and immediately dismounts and pulls his horse along and kind of gets his spear ready. Would we end up leaving our horses in a location? Would we?
So, you'll want to follow the tracks. That can be done on horseback if you want to. Once you get close to where the boar is, you'll want to dismount, and at that point you'll want to leave the horses somewhere. But up until that point, you can stay on horseback.
Okay, how much can I tell? How close can I tell that we are to this particular boar, horse head of boar?
These tracks looked like they were left this morning, so you are...
Is boar the plural of boar?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so.
1 boar, 2 boar, red boar, blue boar.
There we go.
Yeah, so if I can have everyone roll another survival test,
Oh boy.
to try and determine which direction these tracks are going.
4.
No, boar.
No, 4.
10.
7 again.
All right. Tholly, you are able to also determine which direction these tracks are headed and
I'm a hunting, baby.
start leading the group in pursuit. After a little while, the tracks go through some mud and seem to be obscured a little bit. Go ahead and give me another test.
Okay. $11.
Sorry, that was for everyone. I mean,
Oh.
I was gonna say,
yeah, I mean,
ooh, 7.
5.
7, 5.
Better.
Yeah, all right, all of us are doing better. What do you have in survival, Tholly? Is it a 2 or a 3? You have a 3. Okay, so you are a little bit better at this than the average person. Okay.
Heyo.
Yeah, Tholly, you are able to quickly see that in the mud, the footprints of the boar got obscured with looked like some of the footsteps for some deer maybe go in a different direction. But you're quickly able to identify which tracks are the boar and which are the deer and continue on along the path. After about a total of about 45 minutes, you come to what looks to be 2 small, not really cliffs, but just kind of hills that lift up out of the ground a little bit, and looks like it kind of rounds out behind it. The boar tracks lead in that direction, and in looking around, and with Iron Hand's help, it doesn't look like if it entered here, it would be able to escape out the back side of it. So if you were to close off the mouth here, this looks like the place to make your approach. If you want, you've got enough space to set aside the horses, and you can leave them there with Nicholas, and he'll be more than happy to not take part in the bloody bit that's coming.
I hand him a gun. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, cool.
All right, so
leave the horse with him.
yeah, all right. So you leave the horses with Nicholas. Everybody's getting out or getting off horseback and getting their boar spears ready. Okay. So it is.
Of course, he is absolutely not getting his boar spear ready.
He is not getting his boar spear ready. All right. What are you readying anything?
Oh, he's got the Castle Forge stiletto.
Okay, cool.
From the pirates in one hand and his other hand kind of open. The spear is still sort of slung across his back.
Have you used that Castle Forge stiletto yet?
Nope.
I didn't think so. I think, and I am gonna go ahead and say that I'm gonna make this change. I am making a little bit of a change to how the different qualities of weapons works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also adding another tier onto the end of it. So all that you need to know is that I told you that Castle Forge stiletto added a +1 to hit.
Yes.
Turn that into a +2.
Hell.
Cool.
So that's all. That's the only difference that you need for that. I made changes to all of the other ones, but
To its to hit or to its to damage?
to its to
To
hit.
hit. Okay. Done.
Yeah, that's all.
Done.
The rest of them had a lot more changes, but that one's the only one that happened with that. Okay, cool. So you're getting your weapons ready.
Mm-hmm.
Tholly
All right.
is going to approach Radava and say, I will give you 30 stags if you kill the one I send you. That's it. 30 stags, you kill it.
Done. Easy.
Shakes his head. Well, sticks his hand out.
Radava takes it, shakes it immediately. No questions, no.
All right.
Good.
The game is afoot. You hear me? The game is afoot.
The game is online.
whatever. It's a both.
Okay. Everyone else, the other two of you are getting boar spears ready. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Am I correct in assuming? All right. You also see Lord Cameron Tide dismount and get his boar spear ready. Sir Darren for Lauren in his half plate also has his spear at the ready. Nicholas, you are leaving with the horses, so he is chilling with the horses. But both Brandeth and Sabas are here as well with their boar spears and their tied armor. Okay, so now I need everyone to make a stealth roll as you are approaching this place.
If we happen to have bonus die in a stealth, which one would we be using?
For this, blend in is not gonna help you. Blend in is more for
More for crowds and like
for
moving through
like
urban
blending
landscape.
into a city. Yeah, blending into the crowd.
That's what I figured. I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, it's not chameleon blend in. It is.
Just like like smear some stuff across his face and like disappear into the foliage.
Go Rambo style, baby.
13.
14.
14.
3.
3.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
buddy.
Let me make rolls for the other people here.
Starts banging on something. Father, I've got to go to the bedpan.
Okay, and then
Have me use the privy.
Good. I love the voice.
Okay.
Good.
All right. As you are making your approach, you kind of got this line drawn out of I think it's 7 of you. I think 7 of you are kind of all in a line, approaching this kind of break in the kind of hill outcropping, where you believe that you have this boar hemmed in, and you're making the approach just gently, softly, step by step, so as to, once it is startled, that you're all kind of ready to go. And as you kind of all get into that line formation, you hear this jingle of bronze scales as Martin has kind of dropped his boar spear, and as he reaches to grab it and pull it, you hear that jingle of metal as his bronze scales, and you hear that echo through the woods, and this roar of a massive boar from inside that. And as you glance over at Martin to see the trouble, out through the woods, you see charging at him is this just 6 foot long, 3 foot tall, massive boar charging at Martin. Should we go ahead and roll initiative for this?
Sui pig.
Oh no.
Yeah, remind me that if you don't mind.
Initiative for combat is agility with bonus dice from quickness.
Okay. Got it.
So I'm probably not going to worry about
Roll the 10.
roll to 10. All right.
11.
11.
21.
Nice.
21.
Beautiful.
All right. The boar is charging at Martan. Your boar spears are long enough in that, they have a bit of a reach to them. Martan will be able to hit the boar before the boar gets to him. But Radava, you get to act first. What do you do?
There is no thought. There's no hesitation. There is just Radava hears the scale mail. And it's a sound he's very familiar with. His coin mail almost sounds the same when he wants it to. He makes a mental note. The minute he hears it, he's like, I've got to teach that boy how to move. And he's gone. Sprinting full tilt for this boar. Dagger spun around in one hand, ready to slam into the side of this creature and just slit its throat, rip its head off. I mean, the fury that he had days ago on the beach with the pirates and I mean, it is all front and center as he just launches himself at this creature.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack.
Okay. This is going to be fun because I am rolling with short blades, which I have the bonus die in, but I also am still sitting on the temporary +1 bonus die to next hit from several sessions ago that we have not gotten to use yet.
That's true.
So this is 6 die to roll for this attack.
And you're keeping the top 4, is that right?
Yep, keeping the top 4. Yeah, that'll do. Alright, so that gives us a 19 on that attack, I believe.
A 19. Okay. So, did I introduce the concept of critical hits last time?
Yeah, you mentioned it briefly.
Okay.
Based on a number of 6s, right?
So this is technically, we get to check to see if this is a critical hit. So critical hit is anytime you exceed the combat defense by double. So if you at least double the combat defense, you get to check on the critical success table. And then we count up the number of 6s in your roll. So how many 6s were in that roll?
Just 1.
Just 1. Okay, that's 1. That is a solid hit. So you land a solid blow, increase the base damage of your weapon for this attack by +2. So,
Excellent.
what is your base damage for this attack?
So the base damage for this, and I may have gotten this wrong. I think I'm actually testing on 7 die with this instead of 6. The base damage is 5 with 3 piercing.
Yeah, I think that's right, because you've got, let's see.
Well, those 2 I know. The damage I know, but I have test dice written down as 7 die, but I was rolling off of my fighting and bonus die.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because your stiletto has a piercing 2 already, plus your +1, right?
Yep.
From the short blades mastery or whatever it is. Yeah, no damage, so it's 5. It's just straight agility. Yeah, okay, that's right. And then you also, if you wanted to use the daggers offhand, you could, if that was in your offhand. If you were.
Oh no, that was in its main hand. That was
the stiletto
that was
is.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the dagger. If you had a dagger in your offhand, you can use your offhand to add an extra point of damage. I mean, you're already doing 7 damage, base damage, and then you multiply that by degrees of success. So I'll tell you, you don't need to worry about extra damage at this point.
I will say that the dagger is not in his offhand, but his gauntlet is. So there is still that +1 offhand from the gauntlet.
Okay.
plus the grab quality.
True. So, base damage you've got is what?
5 plus 2 plus 1, so 7, 8.
8. All right. Plus, and that is multiplied by the degrees of success. You hit him with a 10 over, which is just on the 3rd degree of success. So 8 times 3
So 20.
with a piercing of 3,
Piercing of 3.
which ignores his 1 point of natural armor. So you carve into him and just leave a terrible gaping bloody gash across his side. However, he is going to accept a wound which negates all of that damage at the cost of a penalty dice on everything else that he does until he can heal that wound.
The hog, Drew.
Yeah, boars can take wounds.
Also, a hog that big got to be a sow. That's a lady.
So alright, let me see. Hopefully this works. I'm gonna give him that wound. And that is your movement and your attack.
Sure is.
Is there anything else that you wanted to try and do?
Is it an action or a lesser action to use the offhand grab that I have with my gauntlet?
I would have to reference. Let me see.
Because I don't remember.
I think it's
but if I
under-
can, I would love for Radova to take that open hand, grab this boar either by a tusk or its snout, or just shove his hand in that wound and steer it away from Martan.
Okay.
If we can do that. If not,
Let me. I don't see where it says grab. I'm not sure where that is on here. And I could. It'll take me a second to look it up here. Let me just get you to roll. An animal handling test with bonus dice and brawling. So I'm gonna do something a
Okay.
little weird here.
I like that.
I like that.
I like weird.
It's not terrible. It's a 9.
9. Okay. After carving that wound with your stiletto, on the on that backswing, you see it has slowed the boar almost not at all. It is bleeding heavily, hurt, but not really slowing down. And as it is running past, you kind of dig your fingers in and try to slow it down and pull it off course, and you dig into that wound and kind of wrench it off course a little bit. Now it looks like it, instead of being steered at Martan, is now heading towards Sabas.
I'm okay with that. Sabas can take care of himself. Sabas is not a
willing to bet.
14-year-old boy. Sabas is a big name with a big spear.
Alright.
I trust Sabas.
Tholly, you're up.
Tholly is going to very quickly pull his longbow out, which he certainly packed. Why would he leave home without his longbow? And he is going to attempt to blow that boar's front leg out.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's just going to take a shot directly at its front knee.
Okay. Go ahead and make your... This is a single shot. No extra bullshittery on it. Just a regular old shot.
just a regular
but
old shot.
aimed at trying to knock him down.
Triple
okay?
this, yeah. I mean,
Got it.
something that weighs that much, if he's only working on 3 wheels, hopefully that's gonna do some serious.
Alright, yeah. Go ahead and...
Alright, give me a second, you can play the Jeopardy music while I do the math.
It's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's a lot. How about... let me double check. 10, 20, 30, 38? Oh, I gotta drop some dice, don't I?
Yeah, you're dropping the 5, I believe. So it's
Yeah,
7
right.
7 in rank with 5 bonus. So
Okay, let me do that again. Let me do that again.
38 is still possible, but that seems
Yeah, but it's a lot.
it's pretty high.
I've suddenly forgot how to do math.
Understandable. Happens to the best of us.
You teach music, so there.
You're not a doctor of math.
Yeah, you're a doctor of sounds.
33.
33.
Doctor Singh.
Okay, how many 6s did you get?
3 of them.
Okay.
Christ.
So you, yeah, that is a critical hit. In case you couldn't tell, a 3 is a bloody wound. Your attack leaves a bleeding wound. In addition to the damage dealt, your target takes 1 injury. This injury does not reduce damage. If your opponent cannot take another injury, he takes a wound. If he cannot take a wound, he dies. So, you take your shot. You line it up. You aim for that kind of front right leg. And in the quickness of seeing what Radava did and steering it a little bit, in slowing it down just right, you are able to line up that shot and take it. It now, you catch it kind of in the right shoulder, mid-stride, and as it kind of digs into the ground with that hoof, you see that entire leg just crumple, and it slides into the ground and skids. Off course now of where everyone has tried to steer it. Now it looks like it's heading more towards Lord Cameron, and it is still hopping mad. Very, very hurt, but screaming, reeling, and just biting at the air, trying to get now at the closest target to it, Lord Cameron.
Words of Radava, I'm cool with that.
All right, Martan, your turn.
What is the boar's distance from me? Because the boar
He
spear
is-
a
he
slow
is-
weapon, correct? So I wouldn't be able to move and use it.
Say that last part again. Sorry, I was talking over you.
No, you're fine. Because the boar spear does have the slow attribute, I wouldn't be able to move and use it in the same turn, correct?
That, I don't believe that is what slow means. I think that is something different. I think that has to do with, let's see, let me double check. Slow weapon, you may not make divided attacks using these weapons, but you can still move and use the
Okay.
spear. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Well then, is it near enough to me that I don't have to move?
Are you trying to hit it with the spear?
Yes.
Then you do not have to move. You may make your attack at it without having to move. It is getting up on Lord Cameron. It looks like it's having trouble moving now. One of its legs was crippled by Tholly, and it's got a gaping wound on its side caused by Radava. But it looks like it's about to reach Lord Cameron. And it
I'm
uses...
going to make a stab at the great beast.
Okay, go ahead and roll to hit.
And I'm going to spend a destiny point here.
Ooh, what are you spending your destiny point to do?
add a bonus die to hit
Okay. Cool.
for the test. Yeah. All right. That way. That is a 10.
A 10 hits. What is your... Oh, you found the rules? Alright, I see. A 10 hits. What is your damage with the boar spear? Do you know how to know what your damage with the boar spear is?
It's athletics +1, correct?
I believe that is right.
Then
Did I
it
give
is
it to
a
you?
3.
I did give it to you, yes. Cool. So base damage of 3. Okay. Cool. How do you kill this boar?
Nice.
Oh. All right. Well, after hurriedly realizing that this could be a huge problem that I created by making noise, I just got a boar spear and I'm just as quick as I can. So I'm like, there it goes, and jab my spear straight just at it. I'm like, as long as I connect, I'm doing something, because I don't know anything other than that. And when I catch it, I assume I'll catch it like right there, like in the side of the neck, like kind of charging forward just in front of its shoulder or something. Push forward, and that's all I know to do.
Yeah, you just kind of half in remembering what you've been taught and half just base instinct. As you see the shoulder bury itself into the ground, and you see it scrambling towards the closest thing, which is Lord Cameron. You see him, he has his boar spear pointed out, and you see that it's writhing back and forth, and that it could very easily knock the boar spear out and cause real trouble for Lord Cameron. You step up, and just with all the strength that's in you, and all the anger and the, all of this pent up rage and concern and worry, all poured into that strike. You strike just above the collarbone, and it slips in, and initially you feel that struggle, and you feel the spear tug and pull away, and as it tugs and pulls away, the point slices more into the neck, and what was already a rush of blood just becomes a river pouring as this enormous beast struggles and falls limp in front of you. And after a few moments, making sure that it is in fact not moving anymore, Brandith and Sabas quickly run up to it and prod it with their spears. Boars, once they're dead, if they're alive, they would be struggling and screaming. So it's pretty clear after just a few short moments that this is in fact dead. Yeah. They all kind of look over at you, and yeah.
Radovid takes a couple just like slow breaths, kind of coming down from the rush and the fury.
Is it dead?
Brandith looks over at the boar and looks back over at you, and just kind of gives you a nod, an incredulous shock and awe nod, but
Tholly,
a nod.
to anyone who's close enough to hear him, says, "Hope to the gods not if it's the largest one."
I look out and I'm in shock.
Lord.
Killed it. Killed it. Did you see? Did you see? Radova, did you see? Did you see?
Radova just breaks into this like massive grin and like jogs over, claps him on the shoulder. Aye, that you did. Oh, you put him down good, lad. You almost got us all killed, but by God, you made up for it. Look at that. Got him right there in the shoulder, just opposite of where I did. That was perfect. Oh, spot on. God's above.
Tholly walks over, kind of puts away his bow as he does, and hands him the flask, and goes, "Here you go, kid. You've earned a swig. Go on."
Call me kid. Then I grab the flask and take a swig. And hand it back to him.
Yeah, as you're taking that swig, Lord Cameron claps you on the back. Well done, young Lord Skrell. Fantastic thrust there. And then he calls out, "Nicholas, bring the horses. Our boar here has done it. He's done it. He's slain the beast." And the horses are brought over. You're able to kind of make a small kind of lunch camp around this very large beast that you have laid to waste here. And he kind of, Nicholas takes the horses off to the side and kind of sets them up in a line and prepare a little fire. And Brandith makes sure that the flask gets passed around to everyone. And yeah, people seem to be pretty impressed by all of that. Martin in particular impressed by the last stab there.
Ain't no party like a house squirrel party.
That's right, because the house girl party don't stop.
And while you're kind of all around this, you've got the boar set off to the side, and you're preparing to dress it for the journey. The rest of the hunt. You got the cook fire going. You're eating. You're carousing. Radova, you notice a familiar fluttering off in the side of your vision, and after a moment, you look up and you see one of those birds again.
What in the fresh hell?
And you see it kind of flit back and forth between a few trees and fly down to the camp and make its way over and in front of Martin. Martin, now you see in front of you this very small bird has just kind of skipped around between the trees and come down to land in front of you. And now you see its wings open and it's flapping and you hear it's chirping. What do you do?
Do I know what type of bird it is?
This would be a survival test. Survival or animal handling, whichever you prefer.
I guess it doesn't really matter. They're the same.
Are they the same? Okay.
Yeah, they're both twos, so... okay. Alright, I'll take that. 11.
An 11. You very quickly recognize this as a very small swallow, the sigil of your house. This is a very familiar type of bird to you. Yes, you do recognize this type of bird.
Well, after I do that, after I realize that's what it is, a swallow. This is sigil. This is our house's sigil. And I'm just kind of excited, and I like look down at it. Like, did you see it, bird? Did you see me kill that beast?
The bird now starts. Takes wing, starts flying, and now it's flying at you, kind of flying at you, swooping at you, at your face, flying away, not hitting you, but flying at you. And the chirping now seems more insistent.
Well, I snatch away from and kind of just like hands up to like keep it away from me, but not like swatting at it. And I kind of look around like, it seems bad luck to attack it.
I dare say there've been several of them sort of following us for a good long while now, and well, Sabas put it up to some sort of witchcraft or curse. I wonder now if it's not a blessing, but still pressing of a sort.
Like, keep my hand up, like, what do you mean following us?
Well, since we took off from Castle Skrell to deal with the pirates down on the southern end of our island, and even here, in the nighttime, in the dead of night, the darkest parts of the night, there have been several of them birds chirping, singing in the middle of the night at unnatural time for their sort. There were several of them asleep last night when I was taking my watch. And now one of them appears in front of you, starts chirping at you and trying to get your attention. And to my mind, that means there's something important that it wants from you or needs from you, or fuck if I know.
Nicholas, have you ever heard of such a thing?
Nicholas comes over, and in the process of him coming over, the bird, after trying to get your attention, flying at your face, screeching incessantly. Now it starts darting around kind of the whole camp, and just kind of flying at different people. First flying to Ironhand, then Tholly, then Sir Darren, then Nicholas, but then flying to the other people as well. Just kind of flying at, and just...
Anyone outside of our house that the bird is flying to, or only members of our house?
First to members of your house. But then outside of that. But first to only members of your house. After a few, maybe 30 seconds of 45 seconds of this goes by, the bird kind of glances around again and then flies up into the trees. Nick approaches and says that it's strange. I'm sorry, Martin, what was it? You had a question?
The bird?
No, I can't say that I have. I mean, I have heard of birds being intelligent and trying to help wayward travelers steer a right course, or other things of that nature, but never swallows. Normally we hear that from ravens or parrots or things of that nature. It is 'tis a bit strange. Is that kind of a bird?
Tholly to Nicholas says, say it were a parrot or a raven. What would this type of behavior mean?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It could be, trying to tell us something. I'm not sure what it would want us to know. We've already killed this boar. Clearly it's not trying to warn us of that. I'm not sure.
If it's a warning, Radova starts looking through the trees much more clearly than he was, probably much more actively than he had been. More like when he was looking for the deer than just sort of passively.
Okay.
We do know that we don't have friends on this island. We do know that there are people potentially looking to do us harm, especially after what happened with Lazoros. Is that little bird telling us such a person might be coming towards us now? If this is a warning, that's the only thing comes to my mind.
Go ahead and make an awareness notice test.
Like that. Don't like that.
Use our fancy metal die for this one.
Hey. Ooh.
That was hefty. Yeah, it was. $20.
20. After a few minutes of relative silence after the bird has left, you, in keeping your eyes and ears peeled, do in fact hear the sounds of footsteps approaching. You also hear horses' hooves. With a 20, you hear likely only one or two sets of horses, mostly people on foot, but you hear about 10 people, footsteps approaching.
God's damned it. Lord Tide, we have a problem. And
is that?
Radova kind of turns in the direction that he can hear this from. Reaches into his bag and pulls out his far eyes and starts trying to look and see if he can spot anybody through the brush. I can hear about 10 people, give or take, maybe one or two horses coming towards us. Unless you have arranged for a friendly group to meet us out here for a little bit of an extended hunt, I think they mean to do us harm.
Meet cute.
So you... Okay, well, by all means, take a look, tell me what you see. I certainly have not made any arrangements to be found. So go ahead and... I'll keep your earlier roll. With the far eyes, you're gonna be fine, because now you know where to look. So, in looking out, kind of in the direction of where you came, you in the distance, but slowly approaching, not approaching quickly, you see several men look to be in the red and blue colors of House Tide. And leading them on horseback is a kind of middle-aged man, white hair, with a scar on his eye. This is Sir Byron Rock, who you know as the Castellan of Tide Hall.
Radova peers through the far eyes and catches sight of this guy. Well, whatever is going on, it's your castellan what's leading this group of men over here. Flying your colors, sitting pretty as you please atop a very nice horse. At least a horse.
You said it was Sir Byron.
Aye, that's him.
What is he doing out here? Is there news from the castle? Sir Byron, approach. Our man here has seen you. Make yourself known. What news is it?
Tholly knocks an arrow.
I
Okay.
take a step towards.
Oh yeah. We're gonna make sure that Martin well unguarded.
Yeah, I take a step towards Sir Darren and kind of get a little behind him.
Okay.
Tholly kind of looks over at Radava, shows him the arrow knocked, and kind of.
Radava is still, kind of glances back for a second, catches sight of Tholly, nods, catches sight of Darren, marks where Martin is, finds Nick. I mean, really does the full, where is everybody? Finds Sabas, finds Brandith. Has his stiletto in hand still, and is now kind of idly, just rolling it between his knuckles, flipping it around. As he's watching these people approach, and as they get closer, he'll lower the far eyes and tuck them away. But he does turn to Lord Hyde. I want to trust your man, I do, but I don't. Watch yourself, Sir Hyde.
Okay. As Sir Byron approaches, you see him with kind of a couple men to either side of him. These are dressed in kind of the normal guards' clothes from Tide, so the normal male armor with the livery over the top of that. So you've got the blue and red over the top of the male, and Sir Byron approaching, wearing a lot of the same kinds of things on top of his horse as he approaches, and he says, "Ah, yes, Lord Cameron, I had thought we might find you here. That is good." And Lord Cameron looks back and says, "Yes, well, we had not thought to find you here. Is there some ill news at the hall? Is there something wrong?" And Sir Byron looks at him and says, "Sadly, yes, my lord. It seems that you and your visitors here have been slain by, what is that lying there, a boar? It was a terribly bloody affair, and it took us several days to find your bodies. So I'm afraid there will be very little to send back to Lord Skrell." Brandeth, Sabas, there's no need for this cruel beast to have taken your lives as well. Set aside your weapons, and no one shall know that you were here.
Tholly.
Help me with my butcher's work, and Lazoros will
That's what I
see
say.
you well
As soon
rewarded.
as I can hear what he's saying, Tholly.
Boom. I'm letting loose an arrow. My
Okay.
lord said so. I'm letting loose an arrow. Straight at Byron Rock.
Okay.
Sorry, I said the F word. Oh, God.
That's okay. Okay, yeah, go ahead, and I'll let this be a surprise round before we get into anything beyond that.
I'm so glad Martin said something, because if he hadn't, Radava was about to.
Yo, this is a dope roll.
Please knock this man off of his horse dead before he gets a chance to finish.
This is nasty. This is 10, 20, 32, and 5 is 37. With
A 37? A
Damn.
37.
4 6.
With 4 6s.
4 6s.
With 4 6s. Okay. That, let's see. So let me look at the critical hit. I think I know which one that is. That's definitely a critical hit. I feel like most of your hits are gonna be. Sorry, let me get to, there it is, critical successes. 4. That is a crippling wound. You cripple your opponent with a dreadful wound. In addition to the damage dealt, your target gains 1 wound. This injury does not reduce damage. If your opponent cannot take another wound, he dies. What is your base damage with the longbow?
The base damage with the longbow is 5.
5, alright.
It has
And then
piercing
you
of
said
1.
you rolled a what to hit?
37.
37. Alright, well that's definitely 4 degrees. 5, so 20 damage. And you said you had a piercing on that too?
1.
Piercing
Yeah.
of 1? Okay. Yeah. He is going to... Well, he has to take 1 wound. What in the world? Did that change? Don't know. So he has to take 1 wound. In addition to that... He is also going to take an injury, which will take away some of the damage, but not all of it. Oh, it's the numbers are the problem. Okay. I think I figured out what's the problem. Okay. And then he's also going to take the rest of that in actual damage. So, with that first shot, you line up your shot and you fire it off as quickly as you hear the signal from Martin. And you see it catches everyone, but especially Sir Byron off guard. And you catch him kind of in the middle of his body, and that you see that the arrow goes in, and you see some blood start to come out of where that has entered. But through the cloth and with the chainmail underneath it, you can't really tell just how much damage you really caused there. But it looks, that hurt.
Would I have the opportunity, since this is a bit of a surprise, to turn this into a multi-shot attack, or would I have had to do anything?
I am going to say for this, no.
Totally fine.
For this, I'm just going to let you have that one. At that shot, though, and at seeing Sir Byron wounded, you will see him quickly give a signal to his men, and you see the 4 men that are kind of beside him start to move forward, and then Radava, in looking around, you have seen several archers come in from the sides and approach you as well. And at that, we're going to roll initiative, but it's also 10 o'clock. Do we want to go? Do we want to keep going? Or do we want to have this combat be for next time?
I just know it's gonna last a long time.
It sure is.
It very well
I
could.
think maybe we let this. Let this be
yeah.
maybe
We start the next
good climactic moment.
one with a nice roll for initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we clock how many men in total?
Do you want to see the battle map?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do I want to?
I'll let everyone see the battle map before we get started. And real quick, I'll just let you go ahead and position yourselves because that'll save me some time in the future. But let me go ahead, and if you're on roll 20, it's on roll 20. And you should now be able to see just kind of where you are.
About a
And
30.
I'm gonna let people at home see this. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of room there. You should see the three of you. You should see Nicholas and Sir Darren, and then the two people kind of on the upper right and upper left hand corners are Brandeth and Sabas.
Yeah.
And then Lord Cameron is the one with the white circle around himself. So in this little block of space, you can position yourself wherever you wish to be. I will tell you that Sir Byron is like southwest of you on this map, and your horses are northeast. So upper right hand corner is where your horses are, bottom left, and kind of around you to the like top and right hand side are the archers. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Sorry, Tholly is thinking. To Brandeth, Tholly says, bets off, keep your money. And then he says, you stand and fight with us, you keep your money. You fight with them, you lose your life. That's all he says. He fires a shot off, hits Byron Rock in the chest, and says that to Brandeth.
Okay. Anybody else have any last actions or any way that they want to position themselves before?
A lot of it just steps to the front of the group and
I will do what I said I was and move myself over next to Sir Darren.
Okay. You know which one he is, right?
He's the guy on the left, correct?
usually the one marked as Sir Darren.
Yes, he is marked Sir Darren.
Yeah. Well, I have more names that I can see that y'all can't, so sometimes I have to remember who can see what.
This block is like super small.
This bit is.
Basically,
Who's the guy with the white hair?
That is Lord Cameron.
That's Lord Clyde.
I knew
That
it.
is Lord Cameron? Okay. Whack.
Okay.
So
That's Lord Cameron, not Sir Byron. To be clear.
Yeah. Lord
Okay.
Tide.
But you are currently positioning your character closer to Byron Rock by moving in that direction.
Yes.
Am I?
Is that
That
right?
is
yes,
correct.
you are.
Yeah, you are doing that.
He's to the southwest.
Here, and you guys just I can let you see the rest
it's
of it. There's no reason to hold that
literally
anymore.
a 4x6
Yeah.
block on my thing
Yeah.
right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's no more math.
Yeah. Let me just let you see the rest of the map real quick. I should be able to do this with relative ease now that I know how this tool works.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ka-chow!
Ciao.
Holy moly. We've got you surrounded.
There's the
Right,
fold.
cool.
So this is the whole thing. And let me let the people there see it in all of its glory. Oh, they can't even, they don't get the little people highlighted. But yeah. There it is. There's the map. There's where the people are.
All right.
So if you, okay. So this is where we will pick up next time with the initiative roll and with Sir Byron already having taken a hit.
Pretty hefty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty hefty one. Yeah, cool. Well, thank y'all for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.